Okay, so we are going to go over chapter 5. Am I interrupting you all? No. Okay. So, we're going to be talking about digital information literacy and digital citizenship. So we're talking about how we use technology to teach. Okay, it's going to talk about information literacy and media literacy and all these other things, but we already know you're already information literate and technologically literate, and your students certainly are going to be that as well. But how do we harness this thing to teach the kids? That's one part we're going to talk about. And we can do it through several things: strategies for teaching students about internet research and information retrieval, ways to analyze research, and then finally we're going to talk about using technology as digital citizens. Okay, because this is cyberbullying type stuff and trying to be good internet citizens. So these are the research or the focus questions, rather. You know, what does it mean to be digitally literate? What will be helpful for students to know about search engines, internet searching, and Google? How can teachers and students thoughtfully evaluate online information resources, including the big Wikipedia, the big Wik, okay? And then we're going to talk about ethics, bullying, prevention, sexting, fair use, copyright. We'll go through that real quick. Okay. So, teachers and students both have a consistent need for information. Yeah, we do. That's all we do. I mean, we are constantly on these phones. We are constantly looking at stuff, and it's, you know, incredibly powerful tool, but it could get away from us. It's saying 9 out of 10 Americans adult use the internet. It's probably more like 9.9. And 95% of teenagers are online, and that includes 13 to 19. Okay, so and the Pew Research did that, and if you click on this, this may work, it may not. It's going to take us to. It'll take you to the actual Pew Research article. I put a lot, and I will continue to put a lot of links to stuff on these PowerPoints. So if you're doing some type of research, or you get a research idea, this can get you started. Okay. So what's it mean to be digitally literate? You know, what's that term mean? Yeah.
Like to stay on top of technology as it advances. Like to stay on top of it. Like you see how after everybody has AirPods.
Mm-hmm. Including the old man.
Yeah, I noticed that.
My wife says I look stupid with them on, but I don't care. I do not care. I can hear my. You know, those things are really. The sound is so much better than the wired ones too. The sound, oh yeah, the sound on these are absolutely phenomenal compared to the wired ones. No, well, I don't know. I'm old man. Half my hearing's gone anyway. So, from my old rock and roll days. Anyway, so it categorizes two things that say what's digital literate. You're absolutely right. You know, we're always keeping up. We're always evolving. We're always looking. How many people are going to go get the new iPhone 11?
Nope.
No. You know, why aren't you going to get it?
Because it's a scam.
How did you find out it's a scam?
Because my phone started malfunctioning the second they're like, oh, we got another one coming out. And it's so expensive. And the only difference is what, they added 2 cameras on the back?
Yeah, that's the only difference. And I have the Max. Like, and my stuff is starting to act up now.
That's what I'm saying.
Now, did you?
Really?
Yes.
Did you read anything about it on the internet?
Yeah, I saw
Did you look at any reviews and stuff?
Yeah, they're not good.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
the reviews aren't even.
Yeah, the reviews are terrible. And you're right. Yesterday I was in an automobile accident. Some lady backed right into the side of my car. You know, and I'm not suing. I'm gonna get my insurance on them, but I go to call my wife and I can't get a hold of her. Okay, I'm calling and calling and calling. I can't get a hold of her. I finally call her other phone. Yeah, we
They
both.
both got 2 phones.
Yeah, we. Her trap phone. No, it's not the trap. It's not the trap phone. No. So I finally get a hold of her on her other phone, and I'm like, "What's up?" She says, "My phone's dead." I said, "Well, I just got into a wreck, you know." And she's like, "Yeah, but my phone's dead." And I'm like thinking to myself, "My God, woman, I just told you I got into a wreck, and you care more about your phone, you know?" And it's true, because we are so tied to these damn things. I mean, she's just like cut off, you know, and she's really upsetting to her. She said, "Look, you were talking to me, you sounded fine, you can tell me about the wreck later. My phone's dead. You know, what are we going to do about it?" So I had to get that fixed.
I don't know what we'll do without the
All she had to do was reset it. It was fine. But, okay. So, as the information literate person can identify, find, evaluate, and apply information. Now, doing that through digital means is not the same as doing it through, you know, going to the library and getting hard copy books and that stuff. So there is a difference, but a digital information literate person can do those things too. Okay. Information technology, fluency. It says approaching technology as an expert would. Well, you're all experts. You know, there's no one, I can't think of anybody, any degree you can attain to be an expert in information technology fluency. So, but we can, as educators, guide students to finding the correct information and so forth and so on. We'll talk about that in a second more. So when we connect information technology to learning with technology, we could find new ways, as I said, by letting them make mistakes, figuring things out, and letting me try. That's how we learn. I was showing you the little girls in the pool. You know, Friday was the first time they've been in a pool that deep, you know, and for those who weren't here, I've got some family from Nigeria, and they're in my pool. Sunday, they're fishes. They're just all over the place, not a problem. They were scared, they're timid. You know, that's the way we work as humans. We try, we make mistakes, we figure things out, and we do this stuff. Now, pool's different. I gotta be around to pull them out so they don't drown, but you know, you all can get in trouble too on the internet and stuff. You know, you can. So we let them try and make mistakes and learn. Okay. A search engine is software that uses networks of computers to retrieve information from the internet. Thank you, Captain Obvious. Okay. Geez, that's the jokes, kids. Come on, that's the funny stuff. No? Okay. Yikes. I hope you enjoyed that on the online one. Maybe not. They're general purpose search, all that stuff, specialized search engines, and yada yada yada. So, but I put this down here. Has anybody heard of Google Scholar?
Yes.
Anybody use Google Scholar? Well, for those of you that don't know what Google Scholar is, you know, it's a search engine by Google that only produces peer-reviewed academic stuff. So if you do a search on Google Scholar, you're generally going to get if you're not on Google Scholar, what's the first place it's going to go to? Wikipedia, right? That's the number one thing, because Google ranks hits. When you do a search, Google ranks the hits of whatever, and Wikipedia is always on top. It's the number one thing. We'll talk about that. Conducting online information searches, yes, 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 just what I said. It's ranked by the relevance on the web. And it has this, what's this thing called again?
Word cloud.
Word cloud, right. And I just found a new world Now you got me doing it. I just found a new word cloud authoring tool that's really cool. You're gonna love it when you do your word cloud project. With that said, for both my online class and you guys, you need to start gathering some words. You're gonna need to get 30 to 40 words, or as many as you want, based on your lesson plan idea, your lesson plan decision. You don't need to do that now. You just need to start thinking about words. Okay? What are you doing yours on? You remember?
Social studies.
But I remember.
Why you keep?
Okay. What are you doing yours on?
Me,
Yeah.
nonviolent communication.
Okay. So she's doing her on nonviolent communication. You're gonna have to find words associated to that.
Love, empathy.
Okay. I don't need them now.
Okay.
That's true. But there's more than love.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, and then there's an engine you pop them into, and you can make a myriad of different word clouds. They're really cool, and I'll show you how to do all that. Okay. So back to business. We have tons of tools. Google has tons of tools. Okay. When I was at NASA for the past 2 summers, not this past summer, 2 summers before that, I would take students down to NASA for a week-long STEM Institute at Kennedy Space Center. And they worked exclusively with Google Classroom. And that's how we got our content. Now, Google Classroom is essentially like Blackboard. Okay, it's called a learning management system. And it works somewhat in the same way, where you can put all your stuff up in one central location. You can have tabs for different things you want. You can do quizzes and tests, but you generally got to write them yourself, and things like that. So it's free. Where Blackboard learning management systems cost this university $600,000 a year, and I'm not kidding. I mean, it takes all you guys pay that technology fee, right? Yeah, like 80% of that just goes to Blackboard. Seriously. And I know this because was on a committee that looked at that stuff. So now we're supposedly switching to Canvas. They've been telling us that for the last 4 years.
The Canvas.
Well, it's supposed to be easier, it's supposed to be more user-friendly for both the student and faculty, and it's cheaper.
It's cheaper. Cool. I'm not.
It's not.
I don't know, a lot of school, I think FSU switched to Canvas. Some other
Yeah,
schools
really?
she
to
uses
Canvas.
Canvas.
Huh?
I thought she uses Canvas.
Yeah, so, it's not like it's junk. You have a question?
No, I used it before I came
wasn't
here.
bad at
It's
all.
simpler.
Yeah,
It's way simpler.
okay. So, but critics worry about privacy implications when gathering Google tools, because in order to use Google tools, you have to have what?
A Gmail.
A Gmail account. So can I require you all to get a Gmail account? Maybe at this level I could pressure you to do that. But when you're 18 or under, that means that person's putting their private information in. And that's a sticky wicket. Slippery slope, double-edged sword, whatever you want to call it, yeah.
I don't think you necessarily have to have a Google account to be in Google Classrooms, because when I was in high school, we used our county email.
Okay, well, there may be workarounds, but the critics say, I'm not criticizing, I'm saying what other people are saying. They're criticizing it because there's information problems, and, if you get a Gmail account, anybody ever in their email accounts get stuff they don't want in there?
Like spam.
Huh?
You're saying like spam?
Spam,
Oh.
phishing, stuff like that, yeah, and that's targets the kids. I mean, there's all kinds of
Yeah.
possible implications with this stuff. When we're in this type of learning management system, Blackboard, Canvas, whatever, we have control. They have an email associated with their school. And if there's phishing scams, like you see it all the time, if you even look at your FAMU emails. We have phishing scams all the time.
Yeah.
In fact, it just happened to our new dean. I got an email saying, hey, from new dean, this is Dean Watson, yeah, I'm in a little bit of trouble, but if you can send me 5 $100 Amazon gift cards, I'll pay you back tomorrow. So something about her brother being in trouble, something or other, you know? So we knew it was a scam, and then when you look closer, it says AllisonWatson@gmail.com, so it wasn't even a FAMU account, you know, so, you know, it's a joke. We run up to her. The next day, I literally went out and got some Buffalo Wild Wing cards that didn't have anything on them. I said, here, will these do? You know? Okay. And then the next day I said, where's my $500? No, come on, I gave you your card. So it's a running gag. It happens. It happened to our former dean. You know, we can do all kinds of things to do effective searches, and there's all kinds of stuff out there, Kid Search, Kidtopia, KidClick, all that stuff that we can have kids go to where it's basically gonna be hopefully a good place where nothing terribly bad's gonna happen. But the bottom line is here, we need to teach students and ourselves, quite frankly, how to critically evaluate the search results. Okay, because there's gonna be bias and all that stuff. We need to be able to critically think, and that's one of the reasons you all are in college. Because when you're done, I don't care if you're an education major or not, you're gonna be thinking a little bit more critically when you're doing things. And I'm sure you do, but stuff happens. So, we can do things. How many of you, when you're in school, they had the internet blocked, you couldn't go to certain sites? Okay, many of you, right? And some of you, is there anybody that didn't have that? That didn't raise their hand? They didn't have a blocking tool? Okay, so everyone in here had one. Well, there's some schools that don't. Because again, they cost money. So this WebTitan, which is very popular filtering software in schools, again, like Blackboard, it's a subscription, a yearly subscription. It comes out of the school's technology budget, but it you know, costs well over $35,000 to $50,000 a year. Okay, that's enough for a teacher that they might desperately need. So what should they do? You know, they desperately need a math teacher. They got the money with it, you know, but they got to buy this instead. Some of them don't buy that. They'll hire the teacher. You know, so that brings the pressure on the teachers and faculty to really be watching what the kids are doing when they're on the computers. When we are looking at online information, we're going to get a lot of quantity. We're going to get a lot of stuff, but it's the quality that we're looking at. Because you have to sift through all type of stuff just to find one thing. And then all this stuff can be happening too. The personal data can be fished out. Stuff can happen, like when we did the Cahoots. You know, I told you, you know, someone ghosted, got in there, and was putting stuff. Were you here for that? Were you here for that? Okay. So, you know, someone got into my account, and then when I would start the game, stuff, names would start populating that weren't in the classroom. So it's called ghosting. And like I said, in the class when we were doing it, you know, some knuckleheads got nothing better to do than to go in Cahoots and mess with people's stuff, you know. But people will do anything to get money. Anything. To get your money. Okay. All right? And if they can get your personal data or anything, they will do it and not even think twice about it. Okay, so there's all kinds of misinformation, malinformation, messed up information, mostly useless information out there. You know, I love the one, don't believe everything you read on the internet just because there's a picture quote next to it. Signed Abraham Lincoln. Okay? And, you know, too much time, you know, we see memes on Facebook, we see memes on Twitters, and, you know, It looks like a good meme, you know, but it's not factual. But we go for it, and we take it as the gospel sometimes. Not all of us, but, you know, some of us, particularly in politics. I mean, you see something anti-Trump, boom, you see something anti-Obama, Clinton, boom. The other side automatically believes it without even looking at it, you know. I'm actually writing an article now, I have been for the past couple of years, called Anatomy of a Meme, that looks at this. And it's not only looking at the meme, but the people who, a false meme, but the people who respond to it. And I'm looking at each one of their Facebook's accounts to see if their education level's up there. Because I want to see, you know, if they have not gone past high school. Okay, so I'll get in. Hopefully you'll be reading that. So you're telling me that you read it on the internet, so it must be true? Okay. No, even the little young man, he knows. You gotta research. You gotta research correctly. Back up. Censorship. Okay. I'll talk about that in a second. We have a filtering software I talked about. Partitions. We can cut the computer's memory in half so that, a hard drive in half, so only part of it's available to students, or we can actually do however much we want. It's called partitioning. Labels. There's labels that actually are from voluntary labels from providers that can or cannot restrict access. And then critical reading. Teach students tools to read and evaluate content. So censorship can be problematic because there's a lot of stuff out there, and there's a lot of hate, bigotry, racism, all that stuff out there. So if we're looking at stuff, so you're a teacher and you have a student who gives you a paper that they wrote, that's a little dicey in terms of the hate department. Okay, and I'll let you use your imaginations, you know. What do? You know, it can be hard. That's why you're saying it's a slippery slope. You know, the kid and the parents can say, hey, he's got a First Amendment right to say what he wants, blah, blah, blah. You know, I mean, you can get into it. My advice to you is to not do this on your own, okay, as a teacher. If there's an issue in which you have a question, that's when you need to not make a snap decision. That means you're grading all these papers, you put that one aside, and that's the one you take to the vice principal, somebody, your chair, mentor, somebody, before you make a decision. Okay. All right. Wikipedia, the online encyclopedia. Okay. It says includes more than 35 million English language pages and growing, built by web users. It does not offer editorial control. That means if you're free to go make a Wikipedia. They're not going to charge you anything. You have to sign up for it. You make your own Wikipedia. But just like we're doing with our wikis in here, you know, you're making your wiki, but anybody can go in and edit it. In the world can go in and edit it. So, you know, is it a reliable source? You know? Well, there's concern. Teacher criticism versus teacher praise as far as Wikipedia, and this is back to 2011 and 2005 when, 2005 not much was happening, as much was happening with the internet and so forth as far as the popularity, and you know, we didn't have good cell phones, we had flip phones back then and stuff like that. We really didn't have smartphones back then. We had dial-up connectivity, all that type of stuff. So, you know, and Wikipedia was just really in its infancy. But from 2005 to 2011, I mean, it exponentially went up as teachers didn't like it because students were using it too much to do that. So a lot of teachers, do you have any professors, if you're writing, saying no Wikipedia? Some of them do. I would be one of them. Okay? And I'm going to show you why after this PowerPoint and on Thursday. Whoop, come back here to me. There we go. Strategies, though, you know, there's all kinds of stuff you can do. There's a Wikipedia fact checks and all this type of stuff. There's actually games out there to fact check Wikipedia that you can do with children. So it's comparing Wikipedia with other encyclopedias and all those other types of things. So the really criteria for evaluating web resources are just like a reporter in a newspaper: who, what, why, where, and how. You know, you want to look at all this stuff to see, you know, who's the author, what's the appearance look like, who's it published by, if anybody. You know, is it a blog by somebody named, you know, Ransom2447 or something, you know? I mean, who is giving you this information? Okay, is it accurate? Is it biased? Is it up to date? You know, is it something that was published, you know, 25 years ago? Okay. And we can often have, you know, if it's saying go here to get more information, the link's broken, all this stuff, I mean, you know, it's problematic. So we want to try to go to these really good places like Google Scholar and your library. Okay? You know, your library is your friend, and it's all online too. And if you look at the bottom of your card, I got to get a new one, but if you look at the bottom of your card, right here, right down here, I hope you can see that, it says lib number. That's your library number, if you didn't know. How many take advantage of this? Some of you do. How many never even knew this existed on your card or what it was? Don't want to admit it? Okay. They tell you? Do you remember though? You can tell we get told a lot. So that's the problem. We get told so much information. It's hard to keep up with it. You know? Yeah.
Are you saying that just for the family library or
Yeah.
for the public?
Just for the family library.
Oh, okay.
No, we can use our card at,
The public?
You can?
at FSU's library.
Okay.
Oh, yeah, FSU.
So,
I don't know about the public
We
library.
can,
You know,
we gotta
and-
say
and
my
that's-
section though.
that's
Oh,
good.
really?
So,
OMG.
but,
That's what they told me.
you know, the the family library has databases with peer-reviewed stuff that, you know, you don't have to worry about the credibility of it. And I'll show you that too. Whoops. Okay. It says quality sites offer informative, ad-free content and clearly state the author's credentials and the site's purpose. So when you go to a site that's got a bunch of pop-up ads and all this stuff, you need to check. Who knows? It may be really good stuff, but that's kind of like a red flag, you know. Okay. Web resources. Okay, recognizing the URL and domain name. The URL should indicate the site purpose. So if it's a .com, it's commercial, org, net, military, university, K through 12, all that stuff. So this is just like general information. Anybody design a website before? Yeah. Did you pay for it?
No,
Using Wix or something?
no, I did it from scratch.
Okay, but how did you get it on the web?
I was supposed to buy a domain.
Okay. So we buy these domains, and these are like prices for like GoDaddy.com's $10.99 a year, or every 4 months or something. There are free ones out there though, Wix, but it won't have your name like, you know, Dave.com. It's going to be Wix / blah, 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 Dave.com or whatever, .wix or whatever. So if you're getting something from a .com, it may be questionable, or org is, you know, good, net, questionable, edu and K through 12, yeah. So
What is the TLD?
the what?
The TLD column?
This one here,
Yes.
I have absolutely no idea. I'm not going to joke. I don't know. I'm sure someone can group me and tell me what it is down the road. The cognitive load, all right? The cognitive load that we carry in our noggins, each and every one of us, I mean, we're so immersed with information now because of these, and because of those computers and stuff, and the TVs, you know, all the stuff, just, it's mind-boggling. And you're sitting down to do research and you go to a website and then 3 hours later you realize I haven't done a damn thing on my paper, but I sure know all about the Soviet Union. We're all guilty of it, you know. Or I've watched every video of my favorite artist or something, you know. We get distracted so easily from this stuff because there's so much stuff out there to begin with. Okay, so it can definitely mess with our cognitive load. All right. Some guidelines, you know, limit the searches they can do. They need to check the author's credentials. What's a site about? You need to do some type of cross-referencing. If this person's saying it, is everybody saying it? Or is, you know, one person not saying it? Evaluate everything before you download because you'll get junk. You need to credit web authors with proper citations when you're writing about them. Even though they're on the web, that you still need to cite them. Keep a log of the sites visited, and that can be done on your web browser generally. It'll do a bookmarking log. Share the ideas and list websites in correct form. So, AUPs. How many of you at the beginning of your school year, the school gave you a whole packet of papers and say, here, take these home, have your parents or loved ones or guardians sign them? You know what I'm talking about. All right, those are called acceptable use policy stuff. And there's a lot of them out there, particularly in relation to the internet now and online etiquette, sexting, texting, cyberbullying, the whole thing. You know, most schools have a really no tolerance policy for all this stuff. But the problem is the rules don't teach what's appropriate and why. That's up to us as parents, teachers, stakeholders to teach these kids why these things are inappropriate. But I mean, you know, you give a 13-year-old kid a phone, geez, what could go wrong? What could go wrong with that? Well, hopefully nothing. However, a lot could. The possibilities could. Okay, so copyright, fair use, all this stuff.